You know what you have with them, you know what it isn't, and yet you stay. You check your phone, you go back, you have the same half conversation about what this is, and then you let it drop. Everyone around you has an opinion. They tell you to walk away. They say you deserve more. You already know that. The reason you're still there has nothing to do with what you know. It has everything to do with what your nervous system learned before you ever met this person. 1. Your brain is addicted to the almost. Unpredictable reward does something consistent reward never can. It spikes dopamine harder every single time. Think about the last time they responded immediately. The warmth hit differently than it would have with someone who always shows up. Not because the conversation was extraordinary, because your nervous system had been waiting. The closeness feels more real after the distance. The relief feels identical to love from the inside. You're not falling for the person, you're falling for the pattern. 2. You fell in love with someone who doesn't exist yet. A situationship has no contract, which means your imagination gets to write one. It takes the way they looked at you that one night and decides that's who they really are. The rest is just them not being ready yet. And as long as nothing is defined, that story gets to stay alive. The waiting feels so much like hope that it's almost impossible to tell the difference. 3. You're grieving something you never actually had. That's the cruelest part. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between losing what you had and losing what you almost had. Both register as grief. Both feel like withdrawal. So ending it doesn't feel like a boundary. It feels like you're the one causing the damage. People who learned early that keeping the peace mattered more than their own needs, those people stay longest. Not because they're weak, because staying was survival once. They don't stay because they're blind to what's happening. They stay because somewhere in them, waiting still feels safer than asking for more. 4. You're not afraid of them leaving, you're afraid of the silence after. Picture it. The moment you stop wondering if today is the day, it becomes real, and accept that it won't. The moment you sit with the fact that you gave a lot of yourself to something that was never going to meet you there. Your nervous system can't grieve an open door. It just keeps waiting. So you go back. You accept less than you need because less than you need is still contact. And contact, even incomplete, even confusing, still quiets the part of you that was taught that being alone means something is wrong with you. It doesn't. It never did. The reason situationships are so hard to leave isn't that you don't know better. It's that your nervous system is running older software. Software that says ambiguous connection is safer than real exposure. That almost love is easier to survive than real rejection. You're just someone whose nervous system is still catching up to what you actually deserve. The question isn't why you stayed, it's what it might feel like to want something that actually shows up. If any part of this felt familiar, if you recognized yourself somewhere in here, you're not naive and you're not broken. You're not alone. This channel is a space for people who feel things they've never quite had words for. If that's you, consider subscribing so we can keep having these conversations. And if this spoke to you, leave a comment. What you're feeling might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to feel a little less alone. Wait.